Okay, let me ask you something. What would you do if you were offered, well, everything? I mean, everything you could possibly dream of. Infinite cash, total power, a life of just endless pleasure. There's this incredible ancient story from the Hindu Upanishads that tackles this exact scenario. And it's all about a young boy who was offered the entire universe on a platter and just said, nope, not interested.
And that boy's choice, it really forces you to ask this one huge question. I mean, think about it. We spend our whole lives chasing the next thing, right? The next job, the next car, the next relationship, thinking that's the thing that'll finally make us happy. But what if we've got it all backwards? This story suggests something pretty radical, that real, lasting peace isn't something you go out and get. It's something you have to rescue from deep inside yourself.
So let's get into the story. Our hero is this young seeker, Nachiketa, and he finds himself, believe it or not, face to face with Yama, the god of death. Long story short, Yama grants him 3 wishes. For his last wish, Nachiketa asks the biggest question there is: what happens to the self when we die? And Yama, well, he totally panics. He tries to dodge the question by offering the boy literally anything else he could ever want.
And just look at what Yama puts on the table. This isn't just, a pile of gold. He's offering the whole shebang, the greatest pleasures imaginable, absolute power over worlds, even the top job in the entire cosmos, the post of Brahma, the creator god. That comes with a perfect body, perfect senses, a perfect world to enjoy. And against all of that, what does Nachiketa want? One single truth. He turns down infinite cosmic joy for a piece of information.
Now, this wasn't some kid throwing a tantrum. Nachiketa's rejection was an incredible act of wisdom, something the texts call viveka, or discernment. He looked at Yama's amazing offer, all the plus points, and he intelligently saw the catch, the minus points. He realized that even the best heavenly pleasure is temporary. It's got a beginning and an end. And anything that has an end is ultimately going to bring some kind of pain, and that's why he said no.
So this brings us right to the heart of Nachiketa's question. Why is this truth that he's looking for so hard for the rest of us to find? The ancient texts give a diagnosis that is, frankly, shockingly relevant. It feels like it was written for us, today, staring at our phones.
The truth Nachiketa was after is the truth of the Atman. So what is that? Think of it as your true fundamental self. It's not your body, it's not your thoughts or your feelings or your personality. It's the silent, pure awareness behind all of that stuff. It's the part of you that just witnesses everything, but is never changed by any of it. Okay, so if this Atman is our real self, where is it? Why don't we feel it all the time? Well, here's where we get this really powerful metaphor from the texts. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's been hijacked, kidnapped. The spotlight of our attention has been stolen and pointed away from our own true being. Yeah, the Atman isn't actually covered by anything. How could you cover pure consciousness? The problem is a crisis of attention. Our focus is just constantly being yanked outwards, right? Pulled away by an endless stream of things to see, things to do, thoughts, worries, emotions. We're always looking out there, so we never take a second to turn our attention inward and notice the silent witness that is always, always right here. And because our attention is hijacked, we end up identifying with the wrong things. The texts have this fantastic analogy for it. It's like we've accidentally married 3 imposters. First, there's the physical body. Then there's this subtle body, our mind, our intellect, our ego. And finally, the causal body, which is all our deep unconscious programming. And once you marry these false selves, you get all their problems and their baggage, and their in-laws that come along with them. Our suffering comes from this basic case of mistaken identity.
But here's the good news. There's a way out of this mess. If our true self has been hijacked, well then what we need is a rescue mission. And thankfully, these teachings lay out a really clear, systematic plan to do just that.
And the Special Forces unit for this rescue mission is something called adhyatma yoga. Now, when you hear yoga, don't picture stretching or fancy poses. This isn't that. This is the yoga of knowledge. It's a high-level intellectual discipline, a kind of commando force for the mind, designed to cut through all the confusion and rescue our awareness from its captors.
And this rescue plan is actually a very straightforward 3-step process. First, you learn.
You study the wisdom systematically from a good source, like you're a student in a class. Second, you reflect. You use your own mind, your own logic to poke holes in it, ask questions, and remove every single doubt until it clicks. And third, you assimilate it. You contemplate it so deeply that it stops being just a cool idea in your head and becomes your actual lived reality. So, what is it? After Nachiketa passes all of Yama's tests, what is this incredible reality that he finally learns about? What is the actual nature of this self we're supposed to be rescuing? Well, the answer is pretty mind-bending, and it really flips our whole worldview upside down.
First off, the Atman. Your true self is completely beyond our human labels of good and bad, or right and wrong. Those ideas only exist in the world of our experience. The self is more like the movie screen. The screen itself doesn't care if the movie is a comedy or a drama. It just allows the movie to play out on it. It's not a character in the movie.
Second, it's beyond cause and effect. What this means is that the self isn't the result of anything you do. You can't create it with good actions or destroy it with bad ones. It's not a product of karma. It is the uncaused original source from which the whole chain of cause and effect even begins.
And finally, this self is beyond time itself. It's not in the past, present, or future. It is timeless, eternal, completely changeless. It was never born and it can never, ever die. It's that ever-present now that actually contains all of time within. So you can see this huge difference, right? There are two realities here. The world we see and experience every day is relative, it's temporary, it's bound by cause and effect and stuck in time. But our true self, the Atman, is absolute. It's the uncaused source, and it's totally eternal. We're living in one, while our real nature is the other.
So what's the point of all this? What's the ultimate payoff for this whole rescue mission? It's not about achieving some state of permanent, giddy happiness. It's about transcending the entire up and down game. The person who really knows their true self isn't tossed around by the waves of joy and sorrow anymore. They find this deep, unshakable peace that is totally untouched by whatever life throws at them.
And that leaves us with one last, pretty provocative question to think about. If our deepest, truest nature is already whole, already complete, and totally beyond the reach of both happiness and sadness, then what in the world are we all so busy chasing?